Wake up! Wake up! What? Wake up! Wake up!
Wake up. Come on. Come on.
Wake up!
Wake up.
Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up!
Peace, peace, family. I'm Brother Assad, Brother Kareem, Brother Obadiah. Welcome to Black Men's Dialogue. What we want to try to do is we want to try to enlighten the unenlightened by having conscious discussions on certain topics that are destroying black people in America. We also want to encourage progressive black thinking. Peace, my brother.
Peace.
Peace,
Peace
brother.
and blessings be upon you, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, we're digging deep, man. And we're going from a different angle now. We usually touch on topics stemming from the household, relationships, things of that nature, and we're going to flip it up a little bit. Now, we got three topics. First off, we're going to touch on gun violence in the hood, quote unquote, the hood. After that, we're going to go with the lack of support that sisters are having from us brothers. Then we're going to touch on grown children still at home with moms. All right? We're going to start with you, brother. Gun violence in the hood, quote unquote. What's your take on that? Then we're going to go to you, brother.
Well, I just start off, balance in general. I forget who said it. One of the great philosophers that said, poverty is the mother of violence. So you have to connect the two. And when you live in the city of Philadelphia where black men are 50% unemployed, natural consequences, violence. Now you're dealing with the street economy, competing with resources, the little resources left, and it spirals down into violence. Also, that's one aspect of it, and also that the self-hate that we done, evolved into as a people, not caring about life. Nobody, I might have had an altercation growing up, a fist fight or something, it was all good, you know what I mean? But it's a different time, different era. But I started on the poverty and the lack of love between each other that leads to gun violence. There's always going to be discrepancies, and I'm not no pacifist by no stretch of imagination. So I would say that it's some issues in life that gun violence is maybe required, but not what I'm saying and per se that we're talking about. We're talking about senseless violence, petty arguments, jealousy, trying to take somebody Jordans, $5 crack cocaine deals, running in the supermarket, the gun worth $500, you steal $50 out the register, and you shoot the guy, he's better off selling the gun. Issues like this that I'm amounting to, not per se gun rights and things of that nature. So I have to make that clear, because I'm actually for gun rights. And Frederick Douglass said it best: unarmed people is an enslaved people. But of course, I'm not talking about along them lines. So with that being said, it's a shame, man. It's like it's major disheartening, man. And like, I remember good times. Like, I grew up in North Philadelphia. I remember good times going to school as a little boy, just the steam, people cleaning in front of their doors. You going through North, all the factories, people working, a lot of people within the neighborhood, all this type stuff. And then, like, once, the companies start shutting down and things of this, then you had crack come around in 85 or so. And, you had this wealth never seen before, you know what I'm saying? And with wealth, and the poverty was already there, but now it's wealth and things of this nature. Just it put us in a cycle, man, that we stopped reeling from yet. And now, like, it's dividing us to the point, because it's dividing us to the point that how to deal with it is a divide strictly amongst black people. I remember talking, like, when I was a teenager, and I used to talk to some older brothers, and when they said like this, when they seen it, I was too young to even deal with these type of issues. But when they seen like the issues coming with like drugs and we were taking the community, it was like bickering amongst them how they should deal with it. And like their issue was like really just the awful, like off the drug dealers per se. And they said that they didn't take the route because it would never end. Like it would spill into the prisons. It just get messy. So it was just like, to put it down, you had to deal with, you had to offer a certain amount of black people. But looking back at it, might have been the best way, because it would have stopped. Like, you got people, these dudes not even really criminals by my estimation of a criminal. Like, you got somebody emotionally misloved, don't know how to direct their energy. You get a little quabble and you come up and shoot somebody. It's like you're emotionally imbalanced to me. I mean, a criminal from my era of criminals is not these dudes that you see, all these dudes that got homicides. When I grew up, there might have been 10 bad dudes in the hood. It ain't like everybody didn't have guns and all this other stuff, and you had a fight game. So it's like, it's a different era, and I'm torn emotionally on it. I would just say, like, you got like certain groups that's fighting against like what's the word? They fighting against like all the violence and the gun stuff, but some of these solutions I don't necessarily agree with, and at the same time, I ain't gonna say that I developed in my mind the correct way to deal with it either. So what I'm saying, I'm not gonna come out against them, but it's been like issues where people want to disarm everybody and all. No, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, that's not my approach. You know what I'm saying? It's some community issues, some issues we gotta resolve as a people. I don't see like condoning mass incarceration as the issue. You know what I mean? Because like, sometimes you got people who's bantering and marching for stiffer crime laws. I mean, like, man, the Bill Reagan sign and the crime bill the Clinton sign, is enough. You know what I'm saying? It's more, it's excessive. So I'm like I said, I ain't going into it. Maybe I'll come back a little bit more once the cycle go around. But like, I'm torn with the resolve. But I'm disheartened, and this hatred, the way I'm saying what's going on. And like I said, to me, a lot of these dudes ain't really criminals by my estimate of criminals. Like they be pantered and pushed this way. Like, even saying that one brother on the DVD who ultimately turned to that path, it seemed like you say he was bullied and done all this, and then like he was turned out, you know what I'm saying? And with the lack of guidance, you know what I'm saying, with his father felony by being in the streets and he getting caught up in the error. So that was like a cycle that repeated itself, and it seemed like his son actually was a good person according to his mom, and getting bullied and this and that and this and that, then you get turned out by it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's easy, like something you hate, you can become it. You know what I'm saying? If you're not mindful of it. So, I mean, I don't got all the solutions, and there's different things that I feel about it and the way it should be handled, but I'm not an advocate of cutting stiffer gun laws, because gun laws only came into place when it was to keep African Americans from being disarmed. After the Civil War in America, and when Jim Crow came into effect, that they passed laws that specifically applied to African Americans. They didn't want them to be armed. You know what I'm saying? Like, even like when you look like during the time of slavery, people don't realize that Native Americans probably killed just as much black people as white people, because when the Native Americans came to kill whites, the blacks was in the fields working, and they knew he was unarmed. You know what I'm saying? So you got a double-edged sword on it for me. But I'm just not an advocate of restrictive gun laws. People won't get guns. That's just reality. We always had guns. We always had access to them. It's just like a psychological process of us as a community change. You know what I'm saying? Not per se, there's no new gun laws that have been passed that made things so easy. There's been none of that. It's just been the way we choose to function and deal with each other as a community. You know what I'm saying? But, I'll leave it right there and hope Brother O got something to add on and bring some more thoughts to me at this point.
Okay, now remember, we're going to let y'all know that we're referring back to the clip that you saw too as well, from the mother that got murdered and the father. We saw the interview with the father and then the mom as well. We're going to Brother O. Now, we pausing right now too. Guess what?
Thank you.
I just thought about it too. That's why I was like, we pause it now. We can fade that. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
Yeah, I just thought about it. I was like, damn. You know what I mean? Before we get too deep into it. But then it's going to be on you.
I'm ready to rock. Thank you.
Yeah. That's when we got a video editor through us. So that's blessing. Because before, we was just like, I said, you can't have that altar and shit like that.
So half of me will have hair and half of them will have the
So, he could do something to knock it off. You know what I'm saying? And then when you come back on, you just say joint on.
But they're gonna be like, why do you put the joint on?
They ain't gonna be paying attention to that shit. They are, then they don't need to be watching. we got. You know what I mean?
Look at the speakers.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't need to be watching shit. Don't even tune in, man.
I don't have a problem with it, but the reason why is because I don't want people to focus on
And
that.
just be distracted.
Yeah.
So he can knock that off, and then when we come back, boom, and you hear your joint on. Like I said, motherfucker, we got messages that we trying to get across.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? More important than any other stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now we're gonna continue. You good?
I'm real good, man.
Okay, brother O, it's on you.
Well, man, this is my number one topic right here. This topic touches every topic touches me. This one right here because it's so prevalent around the nation. Young black male, African American male, whatever you want to classify them, are dying in the streets at an alarming rate, and it's continuing. It's disgusting. Disgusting. I'm passionate about this. I'm sick about this. You know what I mean? Let's keep it 100. We can never stop it. There's been murder since the beginning of time. They've had wars, you know what I mean? So murder will happen, but murder on the street and murder because one tribe is fighting against another tribe is different. These, as Brother Reem said, these are senseless murders that could be avoided. What I believe we have to get into is trying to decrease the amount of murder. So the people probably say, well, okay, this happens all across the nation. Well, what's your suggestion, Brother Obadiah? We have to get the dads back in the household. We have to get the dads back. Even if they're not living in the household, they have to get back in relationship with their seed, their sons. And they, even before that, have to be taught, have to be encouraged. The father had, just like the brother was talking about, he was in the street. Well, he needed somebody to pull him to the side and say, look here, you got a son now. I know you feel that this is the only way to get money, but it's not. You got to get a regular job. Not just for you, because it's not about you now. It's about your seed who continues to come to the corner each and every day looking for you. He's crying out to you. He wants you to be in his life. And I respect the fact that you say, well, how can I tell him not to carry guns, not to sell drugs, not to be in the streets when I'm in the street? I respect that, and I agree with you on that, which is why I'm trying to pull you out of the streets. So you can be that upstanding role model, so he won't gravitate down that road, which it showed that he did. That's the first thing. We got to get We as black men have to understand. I don't have any children. Praise God. Once you have a child, and I'm speaking from a child's perspective, I need you, Dad. I need you, Dad. You being in the street doing whatever you do, as an infant, as a little boy, I don't grasp that. All I know is that I need you in my life. So from the time I'm brought into this earth, to that time, something we have to teach these brothers to say, look, I got a seed now, I got a son, I got a daughter, whatever child I got, I can't be in these streets for them. Not because of me. You know what I mean? Because from what people tell me, y'all have children. Once you have a child, it ends with you. It's all about them. Okay, is that what it is? That's what people keep telling me. You know what I mean? So you got to put yourself to the side.
That on here.
So if I have to work at a fast food establishment, no, I'm not gonna plug any specific one, a fast food establishment, and make $7 an hour, but it's reputable because my seed will say, you know what, my dad works. He doesn't hustle. He's not in the streets. So then that's what I got to do. And that's what we have to start teaching these brothers to do. And we got to put our egos to the side. We got to put our way of life that we're known to do, whether we're good at it or not, to the side and say, yo, we got to look at the next generation. You know what I mean? We want them to live. You know, and I appreciate the brother who talked to Cliff and said, if I had done that, I'll be honest, he probably would be alive today. You know, I respect that brother. You know, because he's real, and I love a real individual. So that's the first thing. We got to start teaching these brothers. We can't get off these corners. You know, second thing, conflict resolution. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? As Brother Reem said, any petty dispute, that's why it's petty, meaning it's small, inconsequential. It's not that deep. We're making these things deeper than what it is. Oh, because you're dating my ex, or because you owe me $50. It's not worth doing life for $50. I don't think it is. You know, and I'll sit down with any brother, and, you know, who said it is worth doing it, and we can sit there and have an honest debate about it. Because I'm sorry, if you come to me and say, yo, I'm thinking about offering this dude, does he owe me $50? Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna reach in my pocket and I'm gonna say, if I give you $50, would that keep you from killing him forever? I'd rather give you $50 out of my pocket to keep you from being locked up. And I only had to know you. You understand what I'm saying? So, we definitely, in my opinion, we definitely have to talk to these brothers on the corner, get them to realize what's going on, get them to understand that once you have children, that you should want to make a better life for them, that they need you. We got all type of social ills going on, molestation, rapes of children, assaults, bullying. He talked about certain stuff. Well, if your dad is there, guess what? That's what we're there to protect, to protect you, to help you. Oh, you being bullied? Let's get it.
Your dad is there. Mm-hmm. It has to be a positive thing.
Absolutely.
Because, as we see, that brother wasn't positive.
Yeah.
Even though he wasn't there at all times,
right.
When he was there, he wasn't positive, and the young brother just gravitated to that. Go ahead, brother.
No, but I'm glad you said it. You're right. You just can't be any person. You have to have that positivity, that spirituality, going in that right path, and that's why it's up. I believe that a solution could be, I'm not telling you that this is the solution, but I believe that a solution could be that if we start talking to these brothers, get them to try to get on that path of spirituality, of righteousness, just doing the right thing. Say, look, we just did wrong. I did a lot of wrong in my life. I'm going to keep it 100. I did a lot of wrong. That path thing going on, I'm part of the reason why what's going on now. You know what I mean? Talk to these brothers and say, look, it don't matter what you did. Now it's time to move on to the future, to progress, to improve. Let this be the fuel for you not to want your seed to come up after you in that life. So, I know it just like I lived it. I don't want my seed. We gotta care about them. If we say we love our children, then we gotta look and say, you know what, I want them to live. I don't want to have to bury them at 14, at 16, at 18. And what is my responsibility as a dad, as a parent, to try to help them and keep that from happening?
But the thing is this here too, what you were saying, it derives from community. the lack of community and the unity that we just don't have. Because I'm gonna tell you like this. Just say for instance, if that brother went away or any brother moves away and he got seized, right? And he's not available. If we have unity
I need to step up.
and community, then guess what? Every other man, or in the block, or in the area,
We got to
he's
step up.
compensating.
We got to
So he's
step
going
up.
to say, hey, brother, listen, I know that, Pops is gone for a minute. Listen, this is what you're not going to do. You know what I'm saying? And that's been going for fucking, what, decade, or what, 2.5 decades? If not,
I think
a little bit
probably
longer.
more than that.
What about 3 decades?
About
You go back to the early 80s,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, with that being said, I think, well, not that I think, I know it's a fact, man. We got to get back to that, which we always talk about. You know what I mean? Community, unity. This is a must. We can put a stop to these things, or even slow it down for that matter, if brothers start to understand that this is the role that we need to play.
Mhm.
Not just a few of us, but the majority of us, and not all of us. You know what I mean? If you have children, and if you don't, because most cats got seeds and they only concerned about their own. It's not gonna work. You understand? Because whatever that one does over there, it's still gonna affect you in the long run.
That's right. I got a lot of children. As I say, I don't have any biological children,
Exactly.
but every child is my child.
Yes. And on another note, we talk about gun violence in the quote-unquote hood, and we're gonna say hood because we don't have communities now. We don't have neighborhoods. There ain't no neighbors.
There's no neighbor.
You got motherfuckers on the same block, don't speak to each other.
Absolutely.
Don't even know each other.
That's
You know what I mean? And that didn't happen back in the 70s. Sorry. Everybody knew everybody.
Right.
And was able to chastise everybody else's children as well. You know what I mean? And it wasn't no problems with it. Actually, it was respect
Absolutely.
and love,
Absolutely.
which we're missing. So, it was a European cat that wrote a book. I know y'all familiar with it. Gary Webb. He wrote that book, Dark Alliance, right? And he blew the cover off of the crack situation.
Right.
Right. So, along with that, we're gonna take it a step further, whereas the gun violence, coming from the accessibility of the guns into the hoods, that comes from the government, right? Absolutely. So the government, they putting shipments on the trains and leaving the trains abandoned right there, smack dab in the hood. What the kids gonna do? They're gonna go up in there, look, they're gonna grab. No doubt. My thing is this. Lisa Ling had touched on it. The majority of the gun violence is really coming from illegal guns.
Yeah. Because everyone's got a record, so you can't get a legal gun.
Right? So, and even motherfuckers that don't, they don't feel like going to get it registered and whatever you know what I mean?
Right.
And they're going to, hey, I can get one right around the corner. Boom. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When do we learn that, once again, this is a form of systematic genocide? Jim Crow, like you mentioned, you know what I mean? Slavery, you know what I mean? Willie Lynch, all of these things, dark skin against light skin, you feel me? All these come in place. Now we dealing with black men against black women. We did a segment on that. It has to do with this too, because they're putting these guns in our areas for a reason, and it's succeeding.
You're right, and I agree with you. But here's my thing, and I'm pro-gun. I'm definitely pro-gun.
I am too. I think we all are.
You can put guns on these tables right here. They'll never shoot anybody.
Right.
So it comes from the teacher. So in my opinion, I agree with you. But in my opinion, I think it's more important about the teaching behind it. I'm not telling you not to have a gun to protect your property. But killing another brother for no reason, that's not what that gun is for.
Right, but that ties into the mentality.
Right.
That ties into the lack of community. Because once again, what I spoke on earlier, hey, like you said, if the guns is out there, you know what I mean, and these cats is just with no guidance, they're just like, oh, you know what? I grew up under moms. I grew up under my aunts. I grew up with my sisters. So now I have estrogen in me. So now I can't control my emotions. So as soon as somebody pisses me off, I'm shooting them. Yeah. That comes from the lack of the community, because there still should be one brother, if not a whole block of brothers. There should be one brother, an older brother, to say, "Hey, my man, listen, this is the way you want to do this, young brother." this gun right here, let me show you about the usage. Let me show you about when you should use it. If it's self-defense or what have you. Not just when you get fucking mad.
Right.
You understand? That's what we're missing. You know what I mean?
Some brothers on the block. I mean, let me ask y'all something. Wherever y'all live at, what do you think the ratio is? I'll make it easy. Is it more positive brothers where you live at, or more negative brothers? And I'll tell you now, it's more negative brothers.
Absolutely.
I don't. Be totally honest. On my block, I think I'm the only one in that younger age bracket, because I got older people on my block, and then I got kids. So I'm talking about between the 25 to like 45-ish range. I'm the only one on my block.
You push the 50.
Yeah.
As far as the ratio, I just say, like, you know, it's hard to speak to because, like, what we want to say is positive. Like, you know, I'm just
Someone's
be playing with some words. Yeah, but
Yeah.
see, you got like people who like that's proactive, maybe like the way we go about things. Then you got people they no harm and they no help. So would they be positive? See what I'm saying?
So.
See what I'm saying? So, but they're not negative either per se. Like, you know what I mean?
Helping.
Yeah.
But you know, they're not helping nobody outside of themselves. I mean, that's what you say. But like,
That's not helping.
you know, but I'm saying it can't just be two classes. That's the point. It got to be positive brothers, those who just useless, and those that's negative. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what I mean by like that, they not going to hurt, and they not going to help. It's those type people. You got people that just trying to rip the community up. You know what I'm saying? So
you either help or you hurt.
well, I mean, well, yeah, you helping, you hurting for the long term. For the long term, overall, this what we trying to get to. You hurting, but you know, like most people, like I can easily look at him and say, yeah, he should be doing more. Or, like, I criticize people along this all the time, but looking at it from an objective perspective, I think we went to a mass consensus and just the way we program. I mean, like I said, I'm trying to look at things objectively. People, like, if a person went to school or went to work every day, come home, took care of their kids, they're considered a good person by most everyday standards. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say. So you got like that crowd, they ain't hurting nobody, but they're not helping nobody either. And we just said it, like, for the people, the brothers that's locked up due to mass incarceration, for the genocide that was committed, for the people that's whacked out on drugs, they have children. They gotta be guided. No way, like you said, all of us probably done some wrong or some shape, form, or fashion growing up. You know, we gotta have a sense of reciprocity. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be able to see people doing bad, even if you ain't afflict them personally, but know they need the help, and you gotta help them. I mean, that don't mean like, you know, you gotta do every little thing, but like you say, sometimes, man, you come in a role of a guidance of fathers to a lot of people. That if you want to at one time, sometimes kids come to ask you questions because they're looking for somebody to guide them. You know what I'm saying? So, but
that excludes the guy that you're talking about that he's not helping.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, but we're just so programmed. Like, you know, we grew up, we gonna say after maybe the late 80s, early 90s, you come with this mindset of about you and yours. You know what I'm saying? It's just like a permeating feeling that you feel amongst people. Like, if somebody, he doing him. Like, you know, he's doing him. As you do these little cliches, you know, this crabs in the barrel mentality. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's what you know, genocidal practice and capitalism does to you. It's me. We the only person that believe that crap. We only group. The Asians understand it, the whites understand it, everybody understand it, but us, they know, like, you know, they have a group plan for their community. We gotta get a group command for our community. They resolve all these issues. Stop with all this, like, trying to, and like, you know, like I say, man, I was watching maybe Dr. Claude Anderson's critique on like progress. You know what I'm saying? And he made a good point, like, we always look at progress from like financial, but there's only one field where there's only real progress: entertainment, rap music, stuff like this. But when you look at all the people, what have any of them done to build infrastructure in the black community? So to me, it's kind of useless because I was debating somebody the other day. I was saying like Dr. Dre. I'm like this dude. Yeah. Now I'm gonna use my word. He's a dumb nigga, and I'm gonna say this because this dude sold. Beats got all this money, and he goes gives a white establishment. He donates $75 million to a white USC football team is worth $350 million. Why do you have to donate to a college that tuition is $70,000 a year? You're in a city with 9% black people that's poor and ran down, right? And you would think you would use that money to create some job structures and some institutions for them. So that's the brainwashing that we at, man. That you'll get all this money from white America and give it all the way back to them. That's self-hate. You know what I'm saying? That's where we at. But the people we look up to, or like not saying us, but the general, we look at people who doing well, got money. This is the standard. So when you look at them and they imbeciles, you know what I'm saying? It trickles down. You know what I'm saying? Exactly.
However, we're gonna reel it back in now. Okay. Gun violence in the hood. We're gonna continue on that. I understand where you're coming from. The thing is this, I mean, you know, and we all touched on it. I mean, shit. The lack of guidance, the lack of community, these are the things, basically. I mean, however, and I always turn to you because you always mention that Jim Crow, which is very important, you know, and the Willie Lynch. You know, these things, once again, are things that catapulted the destruction and the genocide of our people, right? And once again, this is how the guns came into play. To be so readily accessible to our young brothers. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like they going to grab them from the store. These ones, they here, right? We must understand that. Well, we understand it, but I mean, the masses of us have to understand that, and now understand why. Because I believe that if any young brother understands why it's so easy for me to go around the corner and get a gun, and I ain't got to do nothing to get it, and I know it probably got bodies on it, there's a reason behind that.
Do they care aside? I don't think they do because they've been so indoctrinated into not caring about the past, history, you, me. All they're caring about is me and how I can move forward. In their minds, it's not a positive
moving forward, busting your gun.
Because I get that street cred, which it's a false bravado. I'm not saying I agree, but I'm just telling you the mentality behind it, which you already know.
I understand it too. However, the thing is this: listen. Once again, we always promote this shit, man. We are not thinking because at the end of the day, street cred ain't gonna get you no fucking way. Jail ain't gonna get you nowhere. Death ain't gonna get you nowhere.
But it means a lot too. That's what they strive on. That's why it's up to us, you know what I mean, to try to talk to. We have to get more involved. The cut and dry. We have to get more involved into people, into our children, whether we have them or not, into our block. You always talking about the lack of unity, which is why you don't like to use community, and I understand that. We have to get more involved. We got to put down the phone. We got to get off the TV. Then we got to get out the clubs and the bars. And we got to start saying, hold on, we have to take back our community. You know what I mean? We have to get involved, as you say. If I'm on the block, you know, I don't have any children. If I know there's children on the block, hey, how y'all doing, young brother? What you doing in school? How's school? What's going on? Where you going? I saw you on the corner. Why are you hanging on the corner? That's not the place for you.
Discourage. That's it. Any negativity, we must discourage. You know what I mean? And it's like you had mentioned earlier too, and I don't think we got your answer. If you could do that, you had mentioned how many positive brothers do you know in your neighborhood? Well, not I can't even say neighborhood, pardon me. In the area where you at, how many positive brothers? You know, just estimated.
I'm new to that area, but like you know, I mean,
even in your own area. What I mean, you know, from what you know. As far as positive, I mean, we're not going to do the mediocres. We're going to do the ones that's doing something to help, not the ones that's just worried about the self. No. The ones that are there to help, opposed to the ones that are there to damage and destruct.
Let me think about that. You know, I don't want to be premature either way on a, you know, I don't want to discredit and I don't want to give too much credit where they ain't due either. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I just like to think about things, you know, like you asked me something I might never thought about. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to just rush to a conclusion just for the sake of rushing oneself. It'll come up, but I want to jump back a little bit when we say we get back. But I think like it's all systematic, like in a sense, like, you know, I could make the correlation between Dr. Dre giving them a white institution all his money to like the gun violence, like. He in a city where gun violence very rapid. This is what I'm trying to say. With like the lack of opportunity and structure, he could have created that. You know, that's directly. He got hundreds and hundreds of black people off the street. If you going to work and got a job and can maintain, there's no time to be on the corner. I remember growing up, dudes had vanished from the corner, they got a job, they got laid off, they came back. That's the cycle. You know what I'm saying? So that money created the opportunity to give people a better life. You know what I'm saying? That money creates other money. That creates flips and flips. You know what $75 million can do to invest in business? You talking $300, $400 million over time period. I think this is the, you know, like, it's like ultimately you can tell people this, that, and the third, but then you got you got a contradiction that's going to rise out of that. It's like, you know, contradictions, like you could tell the brothers, but now, like, yo, I'm just saying what I do. I need to work. Like, you know what I mean? You become with other entities within the street. Is an illusion that you become rich and famous, and even down to like the image that's promoted on TV. Like, you know, you got to debate people about the stupid stuff they watch. Empire, right? Empire. We're one city in America where one black person owns one black city. One black city block. This is the foolishness that's ran in our brains, and then when they see this empire, they think it's real. Or like when the rap music, and then rap created a petty bourgeoisie class where a certain amount of it are well off. But, you know, this is the illusion, and then they promote genocide in music, so they're rich, and they talking all this crazy stuff, and this was got our young brothers' brains affected, man. And, you know, like, you know, at a certain age, you know, to get anything, you got to work. You taught that from the get-go. Or you got to find a job, then people, you go look for a job, you get disillusioned, or you go work at some factory.
Who gets taught that?
Huh?
Who gets taught that?
Well, I mean, you were taught. I mean, no matter if you want to go about it the fast way, I'm just saying, like, the logic of life going to teach you, or to do this, to do that. Like, you nobody say, yeah, you got to win a job, but to eat and do these things, I think at a certain age, that comes obvious that you got to do that. Now, which way they want to go about it, that's a different story.
You have a job.
Just for them to understand, but guess what? That brother that we just watched, right? His son wasn't taught that. I'm telling you. He already had said it.
But I mean, I'm not saying taught in a logical. Certain things is you have in that ability to understand on your own. That's what I'm trying to say.
This guy,
we can't say he didn't know because he wasn't able to speak for himself because his father.
He already said it. He said when he came outside at 6 years old, 4 years old, 8 years old, he was on the corner. That's where he was getting his money from. He wasn't taught to work for nothing.
But at that age, I wouldn't expect my kids to work at 5 or 6 years old. I'm just saying, when you start transitioning in teenage years, I mean, the developmental stages.
You mean to tell me that if that kid, mind you, 6 to 8, 2 to 10, okay, this is all he is taught, right?
Okay.
When he becomes 12, 13, 14, all of a sudden switches on to one say I got to work for it. It's already indoctrinated in him. That's why he was saying what he was saying.
No, I mean, he was but it's by someone his attention that he wouldn't give to him, so he would keep coming out there. But at some ability, we can't assume that. I think we can't assume or even think for the brother. I'm just speaking in general. Like, I'm not really speaking to him, but like, he's dead. He can't really speak for himself. His father was so disconnected from him.
Action showed it. He was in the streets.
No, his action showed that he was bullied and he was pushed into a life.
You see all the tattoos he got all of. This dude was in the streets.
But yeah, that's what his mom say that she got turned out to jail.
Listen, it was already taught to him from gate, man.
But I'm trying to say, like, you know, the action that people take, like, you know, as far as which right he took, he wasn't on that path. His mom clearly said it. This is where the game get to you and you start trying other ways. Like, people, I know many dudes went out trying to get jobs, like I say, they disappear, they try things, they don't work. I'm tired of this, man. I'm just getting some money. And that's what I'm speaking to. Whereas though, like, when you got the opportunity to build infrastructure and things for your people and you don't do it, and I'm just trying to say, and I'm just making on the point of about when people's in lofty positions, you talk about rappers, they could be, we're not poor people. But every economist in America says that African America has 800 billion discretionary funds. That means outside of your mortgage and food, we spend $800 billion per year. Now, what that means, we're richer than Canada as a people. We're richer than Switzerland as a people. Not you know, of course we don't use it that way. We're richer than Pakistan, so we're not poor. So when we have money and we have rich people that we want to build infrastructure for ourselves and create things for our people, what they gonna keep running into? Like you can tell a brother do this and do that. After a while, they gonna run off and do them. They gonna try to find a job. Like every job's get cut, you got 50% unemployment. Like that's part of the problem too. Like if we could address unemployment, like that'll help people go to the streets. Like anytime anything got in my mind is when I ain't had no money. Like when I was growing up and I thought I was gonna go on the wrong path, it was about resources. It wasn't about like I'm drawn to this lifestyle and this thing. Because like any lifestyle them dudes live, I could live just by working now because I'm making enough money. I make more than them. They in the corner.
That comes from genocide too.
Yeah, exactly.
You just say that.